It's Movie Day. I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes, yes, yes. And finally, we can say that this godforsaken year that was 2025 is over.
Yes, indeed. Hallelujah.
Okay. And as we do at the end of the year in this industry, we're going to do our little year-end list for this episode. And you come up with this really creative idea yet again to set us up.
Yes, it is our first annual.
Now, come on, not first annual. What you doing? You know better than that. You're a communications professional.
I mean, but first annual, is that not like the most black phrase you can think of?
It's very Beulah Baptist.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Anyways, this is our first annual Super Seated show, and we are so excited to induct the class of 2025 into the Super Seated Awards.
Yes. And you've come up with this idea, similar to like when you in high school, we're gonna give out superlatives and instead of telling you, like the best movies of the year. We're going to give out superlatives, which I think is so cute.
Yeah, I had a couple superlatives when I was a senior. You probably would never guess what they were, but
no. I want to know. Let's stop down right here. Superlative. I didn't get any. So I'm like most likely. I'm trying to feel like what I feel like most likely to succeed. Did you get most likely to succeed? That feels like a fair one.
No, but I will say a clue is that like I was also homecoming king my senior year, so that was like a bit of probably why I got this superlative.
Most likely to sign up. I don't know.
I was most school spirit, which yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes.
And I
Shout
can
out
see
to Diller
that.
Center for the Arts. We were performing art school and,
Oh, now see, that's important context to the superlative. That would have helped me, guess a little better. It was an art school.
Yeah. And I also was voted most dependable, which was also, to me, a strange superlative, but it was my second. So, yeah.
You don't think you're dependable?
I mean, yes, but it was just also a very odd superlative. Like, most likely to succeed is common. Most school spirit is common, but most dependable felt like something that was just made up. But here we are.
Well, yes, here we are. Okay.
Speaking of made up, we have quite the list of very fun superlatives to share for you folks out there in the Seated universe. And so tell the people how we're going to go about this today, Tre'vell, as told by my crazy mind.
Yes. This is all from your mind, and so if y'all don't like it out there, okay, in listenership land,
I'll take it.
Put it in the comments, okay, and send it Ray's way. Amen. Okay, so yes, what we will be doing today is we will have a name of a category, a superlative that we have come up with. We each have brought our pick for said superlative, and then those of y'all at home will be able to decide which of the submissions we have offered you should take home the award. Okay, you'll have to vote on, Instagram, on the TikToks, on Threads, wherever you at, we there too. Okay.
Yes, consider yourselves the Seated Academy. So you are the committee that we're moving on to vote for our final awards.
Yes.
And we love to hear your pick. So if there's something we haven't mentioned, feel free to write us in via our email address at holla@seatedshow.com. That's HOLLA at seatedshow.com. And you can hear your thoughts and email read aloud here on the show. So tap in.
Yes. If you're watching us on the YouTube, be sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, share the video with somebody else who would love the kinds of conversations we get into here on this here podcast.
And if you're listening, be sure to give us a 5-star rating in whichever podcast app you're tapping into. Do it now. Leave a 5-star rating.
Okay.
If you have something bad to say, still give us 5 stars and put it in the comments. We'll read them as long as you plus us up.
We take feedback. We take
We do, and we also give feedback. It. We are a review show.
Well,
therefore, we're about to get into the 2025 Super Seated Awards.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so What is our first superlative of the 2025 Super Seated Awards?
Yeah, so I thought a great way to start this off would be to discuss and share our most slept on film of 2025. And for a description, this is the movie or performance that was incredible, but the mainstream red white people slept on it. You feel like you're part of the secret club just by knowing how good it was. It was like a hidden gem to you and your friends, and it's on your definite watch list. So tell the people which is going to be your pick for the most slept on award.
Okay, so I am starting off by not following the rules, which is very like me. And so I have two submissions here because both of these performances in both of these movies, I need more people to be talking about, okay?
Word.
The first one is a legend and an icon in her own right, Tina Lifford, for her supporting role in a film called We Strangers. Now, We Strangers, it came out, it premiered in the festival circuit last year in 2024, but it was released earlier this year on Hulu. You might have been able to see it on the Hulu. But Tina Lifford, I think, just does such an amazing performance. I should note, the movie is about this woman played by Kirby Howell Jean. I believe I said her name right. And she is a woman who cleans houses, basically. She's a maid. And she ends up lucking up into this opportunity to clean the home of this super rich guy in family, and hijinks ensue. I'll leave it at that. It is directed by a woman of color, features a number of women of color, in a very diverse cast. And Tina Lifford has such a beautiful, sweet performance in this film that I just consider, anytime I see her on screen, she delivers. Okay? Especially from the Queen Sugar days. I'm still mad she didn't get no love from Queen Sugar.
I was going to say, I know and love her as Aunt Vi in Queen Sugar, so I'm sure in this movie she has to be delivering something.
Period. Okay? Yeah. So that's my first submission. All right? Tina Lifford and We Strangers. Okay? And then my second submission, there's a movie that came out called Warfare. It is an A24 movie, and it is about it basically embeds you in a group of army men who are like infiltrating. Is it Iraq? Is it Iraq? Is it Afghanistan? One of them. Don't get me lying.
Middle East.
Okay. But it's very, Afghanistan war, Iraq war set in time. And it has this performance by, I do not know how to say this beloved's name, okay? DeFaro Wunatai, okay? Not an actor that I'm familiar with, but if you watch Reservation Dogs, apparently Reservation Dogs was all the rage, and he was great in it, and he got an Emmy nomination for his performance in that. But in Warfare, he has such a gravitas on screen in the midst of, war and bombs and, all kind of wartime havoc. Delivers a performance that I just think is quite searing and quite special in a film that really has a beautiful ensemble collectively, and yet still he shines. And so those are my two. Okay, submissions.
Those are some really good picks. Yeah.
The most slept on seated award.
They are, and I will admit that I may have slept on your second pick with Warfare, because I did see Warfare in theaters, but I don't recall it landing on me that way. But also, it could have just been, it was such a orienting film to me that, like, it was probably hard for me to digest those performances. So I think I'm going to revisit this and specifically watch for this performance based on your recommendation.
It also is a war movie, right? So, that, and it had that whatever you feel and bring to that kind of conversation will also come through you in this movie. I always say that I'm a product of my environment, and so I happen to have a soft spot. I hate for military movies, war movies, because of my mama. And so I just thought it captures it well. And the story behind that film is a really interesting one in terms of being informed by, former military persons. I'll stop rambling about warfare because it don't need no help, because it is about war. What is your pick? I assume you follow the rules and only have one.
Yeah, so I have one, and I think this is the perfect way to kick off this conversation because I imagine this film and these performances are going to be all up and through our list.
Okay.
But my pick for the most slept on performance, especially considering where we are in award season right now and me not hearing enough of this person's name, I feel the need to bring it up right here and now. So my pick is going to be for Delroy Lindo in Sinners.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure everyone should be familiar with this performance. It's one of the most widely seen movies of the year. And to me, what Delroy Lindo was doing with his character as Delta Slim, he plays this old school bluesman who plays like the harmonica. He's like a wise elder who's made some really bad decisions in life. And he has this awareness and this groundedness that I feel like really adds an interesting texture to the fantasy and like vampire world of what this like high concept horror movie is doing. And I feel like you need someone like him to make the world feel real. And what he brings is like this texture, gritty, like 1930s authenticity that really makes you believe that we are in the Mississippi Delta. The minute he comes on screen, like he really shifts the tone in a way that makes you feel like you're seeing someone talk to someone who's an elder, but like someone who's gonna like snap back at you. When we first see him at the train station, and then ultimately he becomes the person who is like a very, very protective figure, male figure in this space for Lil Sammy. And so like I feel like his performance is legendary, and we all remember what happened with him being snubbed with the Five Bloods. So I just knew that he would be more at the forefront of this Sinners campaign, and it doesn't seem like the people are picking him up the way I need them to. So I'm going to put Delroy Lindo as the most slept on for 2025.
Wonderful, lovely, beautiful, apt selection. I agree with you that, it is interesting that he has not seemed to bubble up in terms of that recognition. But it is such a special, important role that he plays, that he often plays in films, particularly probably I'd say over the last maybe 5 to 7 years, the roles that he's been playing have been, I think these deeply culturally resonant roles. Yeah. And this is another one. So yeah, shout out to Delroy Lindo, the legended actor himself. Okay, so that means our picks, for the most slept on award, seated award for 2025 are Tina Lifford in We Strangers, DeFaro Wunatai in Warfare, and the legend himself, Delroy Lindo from Sinners.
Yes. All right. We're moving on to our next category. I think this is a fun one, and it is the most likely to be a Jeopardy question no one gets. So the description for this is you saw this movie in February, you might have even liked it, but by December, you completely forgot it existed until you scroll past it on your flight, and you're like, I completely forgot this came out. Ultimately, it had no cultural footprint, and it kind of got lost in the sauce of things, and now it's become a ghost. So, Tre'vell, with that in mind, what is your pick for the most likely to be a Jeopardy question that no one gets?
So this movie, I did not even know came out in 2025. I actually saw this movie on a flight, flying on a Delta flight in the back seat. And I said, this is interesting because it is a poster that has Rebel Wilson, Okay. Davine Joy Randolph, who y'all know we love on this here podcast. Okay. And a couple other white women. And so I click on it and discover that this is a movie about a group of, it's basically bridesmaids if somebody in Bridesmaids was like a mercenary. Okay. And so why they came up and thought that this was a good idea at that intersection, I do not know. It was not even an enjoyable watch, unfortunately, on the plane. I don't. When I think about something that could legitimately be, a Jeopardy question, I think of this. These are notable actresses, right? I could see a category that is like bridesmaids. Like that is the category, and it's all movies about brides or bridesmaids.
Women getting married, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but nobody saw this, and nobody should see this.
Yeah, I see over 100 movies.
Did you see this one?
And this is actually one of the movies I saw in the app and said, nope, I'm not even going to bother wasting my time. It was one that I voluntarily skipped. I was like, I'm going to see this over that. I don't even remember what the movie was, but whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it was better time spent. So
yeah. What is your selection for most likely to be a Jeopardy clue that no one gets?
So this is an interesting one because people were highly anticipating this film. It was Bong Joon-ho's follow-up from the Academy Award-winning Parasite, which did numbers, hit the award scene, took home all the awards. And so when we saw he had another movie coming out, this was up there. It was a big-budget film. It was starring Robert Pattinson. And so it was we're excited about this. And
from
it was
Twilight?
a new Yes, actually.
Oh, okay.
It was his new sci-fi satire, and he plays what they call an expendable in the film, which is basically a guy whose job is to die on dangerous space missions so they can print a clone of him the next day. Interesting premise, fun premise. Naomi Ackie plays a role in this, which was fun. But things get messy when one version of him doesn't die and suddenly there are multiple versions of him running around space. And it's dark, it's funny, it's weird, but it's also not... I wouldn't say it's not a great follow-up to Parasite. So there was a lot of disappointment from critics. Folks really did not love this film. And sadly, it just kind of quietly went away. But that was a movie that came out this year that I completely forgot about until I was reviewing kind of what came out. And we have Mickey 17. So yeah, that's my choice.
I have not seen this because for me, the trailer looked a little... little cattywampus, as we used to say where I'm from.
Cattywampus, wow.
But I'm glad I did not spend the money to go, since it seems like it wasn't worth it.
And there was this thing this year where it seemed to be so many movies coming out with twin figures. And this was a part of that conversation earlier this year. That's going away. We've had Sinners, of course. We had this one, Mickey 17, where he's playing multiple people, which essentially becomes a twin. There's the movie Twinless, which really enjoyed that movie.
I saw that. It's a cute one.
Yeah. So it was that narrative happening earlier this year that was fun about all these twin movies coming out. So yeah. Okay. All right. So what were our picks again for this category?
So our picks for most likely to be a Jeopardy question no one gets are Bride Hard and Mickey 17.
Yeah. All right. Our next category is going to be the Let 'Em Cook Award. And so this is for a debut that showed raw, undeniable talent. Even if it wasn't a perfect movie, the box office records exactly weren't broken, but we loved it. And it showed that the director has promise and he got next, or she. And we are buying stock in it. Or they.
Okay. Y'all see how they do me? Burn. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, we're buying stock in their career now while it's cheap. So what is going to be your selection for the Let 'Em Cook Award?
Yes. Okay. Breaking the rules again here. 2 submissions because these both were so good but so different. So my first one is going to be a movie that came out earlier this year, psychological thriller called Lurker.
You're like my best friend. I mean that.
Yo, get back! Bro!
It's a detail
Walk back, walk back. Found boys, man.
Ollie. I guess that means you're like my best friend.
You gotta head out.
What? Best friend.
I think you should just take a break.
Best friend.
Okay. Written and directed by Alex Russell. I see positive reaction.
I'm so glad this made your list because I really wanted to talk about this movie.
Okay, lovely. So this was a Sundance movie earlier this year. I believe Mubi, M-U-B-I, are the ones who bought it and released it. But like I said, it's written and directed by Alex Russell, and it really is about this guy who becomes involved with this musician, and it ends up being this meditation on like parasocial and actual social relationships, on celebrity culture and stan culture, on perhaps taking things too far, and there's a particular kind of intimacy and angst that I think Alex Russell has written into this story and pulls off with their direction. That I saw the trailer with watching some other movie, saw the trailer and I was like, yep, need to watch that. And then watched it and was like, I'd come back.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely come back, and it has fresh faces to me in terms of the cast. I mean, Zach Fox is also in it, in a great funny role. But the leads are fresh faces to me. And it was just like such a film that made me go like, you know what? I want to see more from this voice. And so, Lurker.
Same, man. I don't know what I was expecting in this film, but like I was pleasantly surprised by what that experience was. One, because we know the parasocial conversation has been one that's been going on, especially as of late, with like social media influencers and folks just not having the privacy they should be allowed just because they're public figures. And so watching this movie, I loved how they set up the premise, and also like the performances were spot on. And also, as someone living in LA and experiencing or witnessing folks who really do kind of attach themselves to public figures to try to like clout chase in a way, I was like, this feels like it is being written from like a real lived experience and like really tapping on something that felt honest. And so I really enjoyed Lurker for that reason. Yeah.
Okay, so Lurker is one of my submissions, and my second one is this beautiful small film called Familiar Touch by Sarah Friedland, another first-time writer-director. And this film did its festival circuit last year in 2024 and just came out in theaters earlier this year, I think in June. But they describe it as a coming-of-old-age film, which first and foremost, love that description. And also, we don't get films about old people.
True. There was one that I loved. Oh my God. What is the name of it?
Is it with June Squibb? Because she be working down. Thelma.
It was such a good movie. Thelma, yes. Oh, hilarious. But that was last year. We're talking about this year. Tell us about this movie.
That was last year. It was good. You were not wrong. But so we have this movie. It's a coming of old age film that really is about this like woman in her 80s transitioning to an assisted life. Right. And so she is starting to get, experience dementia, and her family, have to make a decision about what her care is going to look like, going forward. And they're putting her into a assisted living It's such a soft film. The lead is played by Kathleen Chalfant, who like is a older woman. Apparently, she's a theater legend. Has a Tony. So you know, has some stock to the acting. But it's such a beautiful, fresh, unique, I feel like, story from this director who is not in their 80s, for the record. That I'm just like, oh wow, I want to see more. If you can take this and have this kind of touch and this kind of care and this kind of warmth, right, to exploring what could be a really sad and tragic, you know, moment in people's lives. I just, Sarah Friedland, familiar touch. Have you seen that?
No, but I am sold. Like, I'm going to seek this one out. I wish they would do a re-release. Maybe I'll find a screening somewhere in LA to see it in theaters, but I will be seeking this one out because I love just like the premise. Yeah.
It did get Indie Spirit nomination, so maybe you will be able to, you know, find a screening soon.
Nice. All right. So my selection for this category is actually going to be someone I think I may have discussed earlier this year and probably a secret episode, but it's Mark Anthony Green, the director of Opus. Yes. All right. So I know that this movie had like very mixed response. Your mileage will vary with this one, but if you want a fascinating backstory for a director, you look at Mark Anthony Green. Before he was making movies for A24, he was the style guy at GQ, and he had special projects that he would edit as an editor. And he spent over a decade interviewing like the biggest celebrities on the planet, which makes him the perfect person, I think, to direct Opus. It's a movie literally about the terrifying cult of fame and just like we were mentioning, that parasocial relationship, people wanting to just be close to famous people. This is his feature debut, so you can tell he's bringing like his editor's journalistic eye to the screen. It's a very stylish movie. The aesthetics are what I would call sharp, and the music, it has legends in it. Nile Rodgers did a lot of the music in this film, and he's basically taking his experience in the high fashion, high access world of celebrity journalism and twisting it into like a psychological nightmare. And I think it's like a massive flex for a first-time filmmaker to land a cast like Ayo Edebiri and John Malkovich for like his first film. And I think it proves that he has a very specific and confident vision. So I highly recommend seeking out Opus if you're into the premise of it all. And this is Mark Anthony Green's feature directorial debut, and this is going to be my selection. So
yeah, great, good movie. Good movie. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Okay, so our selections that you all get to choose from for the Let 'Em Cook Award. Okay, Let 'Em Cook. Familiar Touch by Sarah Friedland, Lurker by Alex Russell, and Mark Anthony Green, who did Opus.
Yes. All right, so moving right along, we're going to go to our next category, which is the Beautiful Gowns Award.
Y'all know what this is, okay?
This speaks for itself, but as a description, this is the movie that the timeline said was capital C cinema. You got to the theater and you sat down and you watched this and realized the math just wasn't mathing. It ain't live up to the hype, essentially, but it was fine. So gowns, beautiful gowns. What is going to be your selection for this, Tre'vell?
Okay, so my slight disclaimer is that for my selection, it's not necessarily that the timeline was saying y'all need to go see this, but the cachet, right, with which the franchise this film belonged to has is the thing that was like, oh yeah, you got to go see this. This from them same people, okay? And this is the movie Ballerina, the full name of which is, quote, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Yeah.
All right. And it is that world of John Wick that is doing a lot of work. Okay.
It sure is. That's what brought people to the yard.
That is what brought me to the yard. And then I got there and I said,
Ain't no damn ballerinas in this movie.
Well, they were there, but they weren't no. I expected it to be John Wick meets Save the Last Dance.
Yes, some choreo, something.
John Wick meets, is Anna Karenina a ballet?
Anna Karenina,
It doesn't matter. But I'm trying to have something, ballet, John Wick meets Misty Copeland, okay?
Yeah.
Hot chocolate
Yeah.
nutcracker. I don't know. But it just did not. But it had beautiful gowns, beautiful aesthetic. It looked good. But so that's my entry. What is yours?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, y'all could even had a girl killing people with some like balletic flair.
I was so upset. I was so upset.
So my entry, I'm just gonna put it out there. It's Weapons. The white people was out here on the timeline talking about Weapons was better than Sinners, and it was required viewing. And so I was open, to say the least. I was like, all right, if they talking big game, I'm gonna go see what's popping about this. And Weapons, so if you don't know, it's the new horror movie from Zach Kreger. He's the guy who directed Barbarian, which was a pretty good horror thriller movie to me as well. It's an interconnected story about high schoolers disappearing in a small town, and it deals with witchcraft and missing children. If it's anything like Barbarian, expect it to be unpredictable, I'll say. It's pretty intense, and I would say it was probably best to see it with the crowd because I just don't see it landing on me at a home viewing in the same way that it seemed to land on everyone else. And while it has some fun moments and like some really interesting things that it was doing with the genre, I didn't leave that movie feeling like it was this masterpiece worth comparing to a movie like Sinners that was doing so much more nuanced work. It just felt like a great entry into the thriller genre. But yeah, people were talking about it was the best picture of the year so far at that point, and I walked out like, this wasn't that, but it was fine.
Yeah, listen, just another sign. You need to stay off the internet. I haven't seen Weapons, so I don't know, but
Yeah.
Okay, so the Beautiful Gowns Award contenders are From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, and Weapons.
Yes. All right, so moving on to our next category. This is going to be the grand reopening category, and
Shout
this
out
is
to the
basically shout out to the. Do you know it's been almost 4 years since the last season aired?
They coming.
We ain't got to get into it.
She coming.
They've been telling us they coming for how long now? Anyway.
Okay,
right.
well, there were a couple strikes. What more you want, Ray? Okay, and other people
The
be working.
Grand Reopening Award is dedicated to the re-release movies of the year. So every year, studios re-release films looking to celebrate anniversaries or just kind of prime the audience for the next entry in a big franchise. And this re-release that you saw this year, it holds up to the hype, and it's worth a repeat viewing at the Cineplex. And so, Tre'vell, what is your entry for the Grand Reopening Award?
So I actually don't really have a submission. Now, I have a contender that I have not yet seen. I know it's going to be amazing. This coming weekend, as we are recording this, I'm getting the opportunity to see The Preacher's Wife on the big screen in 35 millimeter. And I think that's amazing. And I love, when these kind of repertory opportunities pop up. So it's not necessarily a full re-release that you all can go participate in at home. But I can participate in it here. And so I'm looking forward to that. But you go to these all the time. So I'm interested in what your selection, you probably got a couple selection.
Yeah, so I think I have enough for the both of us. I probably have mentioned here a time or two that I'm a member of the AMC A-List subscription. And with that, it's really easy to go into the app and just see what's playing at the movie theater. And you'll just see random titles pop up. And it's oftentimes an old film that you're like, oh, they put this back in theaters. And I get into the story of why. Like, I got to see Ma for the first time this year. I got to see The Wiz in full the first time this year because of this. But one of my favorites and my first entry into the Grand Reopening category is A24 and IMAX's partnership. So have you heard about this?
I don't think so, but keep going.
So if you're a movie nerd like me, this is a dream case scenario. So basically, A24 and IMAX, they have this ongoing partnership where they dig into the A24 vault and they essentially re-release fan favorites, cult classics, if you will, and they remaster it for the IMAX format and put it back in theaters for us to see. And it was a monthly event series that they were doing at the top of the year. I got to see some really great films this year through that. Of course, one being my favorite, Moonlight, which absolutely holds up as it should. One that I didn't love, but like I saw it in theaters, was Spring Breakers on that. So yeah, it's a really great series. Last year, I think they did like Ex Machina and Hereditary, and it's really great to be able to revisit these films in the IMAX format. Folks get to see it for the first time after they've won awards or been like these cult classics and widely discussed. And so being able to experience that, I think it's fun. And A24 has such a fun catalog, I think, that's worth revisiting each year. So that's my first entry, A24 and the IMAX partnership. My second entry, this is one I did see during its original run, and I was like, I wonder if this will still hold up. And it was the, 2015, I believe, film, Black Swan by Darren Aronofsky. Do you remember this one?
Oh, yes. Little ballet movie. Yes.
Yes. Speaking of ballerinas, yes. So it's a psychological thriller starring Natalie Portman as the ballerina who's essentially cracking under pressure as she's trying to navigate her way through the Black Swan production or the White Swan. What is that damn? Whatever the ballet is. And if you haven't seen it on the big screen, it is a must. It's visceral. It's paranoid. It features one of the best like descent into madness performances that you'll ever see on screen. And most importantly, it holds up. As I was watching this movie, I took my friend Morgan with me to see it. We both were sitting there reacting to it like it was the first time we saw it. And it was just a really fun experience. And so those are going to be my two entries, the A24 and IMAX partnership and Black Swan for the grand reopening award of 2025.
Beautiful. Love that. Love that. Okay, so our next category, this might be my favorite. This might be my favorite. This is the class clown superlative, okay, which obviously goes to the best comedic performance of the year. And you know what? I'll give you the opportunity to start with your submission first.
All right, so my submission for the class clown of 2025 is the one, the only, our cousin, Keke Palmer, in One of Them Days.
Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. What's good to eat around here?
Oxtails, grits, greens, yams, tams, M&Ms. Got a lot of shit.
I'll send you a list.
Okay. I am right here if you guys ever want to have a girls' night.
Oh.
A little Prosecco and pals situation.
Come on, drinks.
Okay. Bye.
I like your dog.
I'll let you girl.
Yes. And she's mine too, for the record. So you shout out to her.
I had to think about that. I was like, is she cousin? Is she niece? Because she ain't auntie. So where do we put her on the scale?
I think we have to say cousin, just like
Cousin,
age-wise, because she younger than us.
Yeah, but I mean, by like a couple years. She's what,
Okay,
32?
you keep doing that couple years, just a few years.
But yeah, you know, it's your girl, Keke Palmer. So yeah, she's definitely, to me, the class clown of the year. Who's your pick? Is it the same for you?
Yeah. My pick was the exact same. It's Keke Palmer. I think, and not just her performance in One of Them Days, but her performance in One of Them Days. But you know, but beyond that, her cultural presence is just so funny.
Yeah.
You know, she just like always showing out to me in some way, shape, or form.
It was the funniest movie I saw this year, bar none. And it came out in February, so there were a lot of films to follow it. There was one movie, oh my God, what's the name of the movie? Splitsville? That was an unexpectedly hilarious film that I highly recommend seeking out. But Keke Palmer's performance is still the top for 2025 for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and I just would like to note that little girl, she's not a little girl at all. That girl is 32. To your point of just a few years. You was right.
It's literally just a few years.
I was wrong. You right.
Our next category is going to be the Just For Me Award. Now, do you remember Just For Me, the box perm from back in the day?
Absolutely. Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So this award is in that vein. It's for the film that feels like the director hacked your browser history and saw your niche obsession. And they made a movie that was just for you. It appeals to a demographic of exactly one person, and that person is you. A movie made for your own personal algorithm. So Tre'vell, what is your Just For Me award submission?
Now, I hope this movie is actually made for more people, but maybe not based on how many people have probably seen it. And it is a smaller movie. It is called Outer Lands. This is a drama directed by Elena Oxman, and it stars Asia Kate Dillon, who is, most people probably know them. They're this non-binary actor who was in Billions, a TV show called Billions.
I vaguely remember Billions with The Rock, right?
Huh? Yes, yes? No, that's Ballers.
Ballers. Oh, maybe I don't know Billions.
Billions
Okay,
is white people. I don't think any black people in Billions. I can't recall. Yeah. Don't hold me to that. But Asia Kate Dillon, at the time when that show was out, was like, you know, perhaps one of the most visible non-binary actors and like engaged in that conversation. And so they star as this gig economy worker in this film who's like juggling all these different kind of low-paying jobs just to make ends meet. And then one of their co-workers ends up leaving her daughter with Asia Kate Dillon's character while they go out of town. And it ends up being this really interesting, I feel like, exploration around identity and gender and connections to our childhood selves without being super, very special episode.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say this is like just for me is because when I think of the kind of representation that I want to see on screen for trans and non-binary people, this is stuff that I want, right? Yeah. Where the identity, the ways that identity shows up in the narrative color the experience, but they don't, root the experience in a particular way. And it's still a narrative that I think is super relatable to anyone trying to relate to a child through and the ways that it brings up memories of your own younger self. And so really beautiful story. It was distributed, I want to say it was South by Southwest, and it came out a couple weeks ago, but in limited release. So hopefully you'll be able to stream it somewhere, soon. But this is called Outer Lands.
Nice. Well, my selection is also a movie that had very limited release. I don't know that anybody outside of the few folks who were in the auditorium with me actually saw it. And that's going to be the film titled The Actor.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Will you state your full name, please?
Paul Edwin Cole.
What happened to you, Paul?
I don't know.
And now, what makes this a Just For Me film is because it hits on so many of my
besides the fact that you told us that you love this movie a few different times.
Yes. But it has a little bit of mystery. It has a little bit of romance. It has Andre Holland. And it has the story of a black man living in what feels to be a strange world, trying to figure out who he is. And I can relate to so many of those things that makes it feel like it is specifically for me. And so a bit about the movie. Andre Holland stars in this noir-style thriller. He plays an actor who wakes up in the middle of a mysterious town with zero memory. So he experienced a traumatic incident that left him with instant memory loss, and he's trying to figure out who he is and how he got there, and he has to use his acting skills to adopt different personas to survive and solve the mystery of his own identity. And to me, it's like, when you're entering into a new space, a new school, new job, you have the opportunity to basically create who you want to be in that space, and it feels a lot like that in this film. It's moody, it's stylish, and it's I think a great showcase for Andre Holland. So my submission is going to be The Actor, by starring Andre Holland.
Okay. The Just For Me award. The Actor, starring Andre Holland, and Outer Lands, starring Asia Kate Dillon.
Nice. Well, we've got just a few more categories to get through here, and our next award is going to be the We Got Food at the House Award. And so this is for a movie that tried to be a blockbuster but gave us TV movie energy. It's the movie you regret spending $20, $25 on at the local AMC or Regal when you could have just watched this drop on Netflix. And I think that this is going to be interesting to hear from you. So, Tre'vell, tell us, what is the We Got Food at the House Award pick for you?
The movie that I really was rooting for, but ultimately had to say, we got movies at the house, okay, is Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Save me, Luna. Take me away. Yes. To a movie.
Starring a one Jennifer Lopez, Diego Luna, Tonatilla, etc. Movie musical came out earlier this year. We have an episode on it. Go check it out. But it was just such a disappointment. It wasn't a narrative that I was familiar with. Long story short, Tonatilla and Diego Luna are in jail together, and Tonatilla has fantasies about this movie they love called Kiss of the Spider Woman, in which Jennifer Lopez plays the titular Spider Woman. It's a little convoluted in story, but it makes sense, when you're watching it. But ultimately, such a letdown. We got Dream Girls at the house. We got Hairspray at the house. You know what I mean? We got so many other better, more worthy options of your time and your $25 at the house. So Kiss of the Spider Woman is mine.
Especially if you're just gonna see one musical a year, that is not the one that I would recommend.
Which I hate to say, but it is what it is. What is your selection?
So for me, I was going between two films, and I figured I'd just bring both of them up. Mm-hmm. So Tre'vell, did you know Gabrielle Union had a movie in theaters this year?
Called what?
Yeah, so she was in a movie titled Riff Raff, which starred Jennifer Coolidge, Bill Murray, Ed Harris, and Gabrielle Union.
What?
This is our son.
We're too young to be grandparents. All because your son couldn't pull out in time.
We've got house guests.
No one knew this happened. It was, I think, came out during like the January, February window in that Dumpuary segment of the year. But yeah, it's a movie about a former criminal whose quiet life gets blown up when his dysfunctional family and his old enemies show up for a reunion out of the blue. It's dry humor, and it's kind of trying to do that chaotic family dynamic thing with like a hitman element. Ultimately, I was just excited to see Gabrielle Union in the film, and I showed up to the theater open-minded, like, all right, this is probably going to be one of those B movies that hopefully surprises me, and it did not. This definitely could have been one of those things that.
She the only black person in it?
I believe her son is also black, but that's just because, she's
yeah.
Okay, so
cool.
I was very just like, this definitely could have been. No one heard of it. No one even heard of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know at all.
Yeah. So my second entry, I think people did hear of because she's like one of our TV series girls, and that is the Kerry Washington film Shadow Force. Hate to do it, but this was her attempt at an action movie. It was like the high octane action film that she starred and I believe produced herself. And it stars Omar Sy, who people may know from, oh my God, why is the TV show leaving me?
He is in Lupin, ain't he, on Netflix?
Yes, Lupin.
So good.
Yes. So essentially, they play an estranged couple who are both like special ops agents, and they have to put their issues aside and go on the run together to protect their son from the shadow union that used to employ them. And it's trying to give this Mr. and Mrs. Smith but make it Black and international vibe, where they're running for their lives. And to be honest, I was low-key ready to run out of that theater because it just was not a good movie. And it also starred our girl, Devondre Randolph, which makes this 2 movies on her 2025 calendar that just were not his, with Brideheart and this being the 2.
That's okay. She's getting them checks. That's okay.
Yeah, she is. All right, so that's going to do it for our We Got Food at the House award, and those selections were The Kiss of the Spider-Woman, Riff Raff, and Shadow Force. All right, Tre'vell, throw us our next category. What we got?
Our next category is the Who Dat in the Back?
Who that in the back? Who that in the back?
Okay, now this is the award. You know, there's always that supporting actor who may have just a scene or 2, but they steal the focus long enough for you to take notice. You want to see more of them. Okay, I think of Viola Davis in Doubt, for example. 8 minutes and she's gone. Yeah. So what are your submissions for the Who Dat in the Back award?
My Who Dat in the Back award has to go to the one, the only Regina Hall for her performance in One Battle After Another. The scene that sits with me to this day continuously is the scene of her in the bathroom when she's arriving to rescue Chase Infinity's character. Yeah. Lord, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of the character.
It's okay, beloved.
But they're in dialogue together. Willa. Yes, Willa. So she's there to rescue Willa, and she's talking to Willa and basically introducing herself to her, but the camera is set up in a way where we don't see her character's face. Instead, we see it through the mirror, and she's talking to Willa. So we see like the back of Willa's head, and we can see Regina Hall's character face through the mirror. And like the work she's doing there vocally, emotionally, was just so present and so charged. I was like, why do we not have more Regina Hall in this movie? And so that's going to be my selection for the Who Dat in the Back award, because they literally in that scene had her in the back.
Yeah. But also the reason why she ain't had more scenes is because, you know, somehow they got to make a play for Tiana Taylor to get all of this award recognition. Because, you know, for perfidia. Anyway, my submission for the Who Dat in the Back award, I'm going to double back to Kiss of the Spider-Woman, which I was just talking about. And I'm going to highlight Tona Tia, or Tona T.U. One of those.
Tona T.U. like P.U.
Okay, Tona T.U. Okay, now Tona T.U. played like I mentioned, one of the, you know, cellmates of this narrative, and they're this, you know, sort of kind of gender bender, that character, sort of kind of just like femme gay boy. It's a little messy in terms of the identity declaration there, but Tona T.U. has, I think, to me, the best performance of the movie. That's out of Diego Luna, and that's out of Jennifer Lopez, okay? Yeah. And it was a surprise. It was the performance of the year, really, that I was like, okay, I see something. I want to see more, you know? And so Tona T.U. is my submission for the Who Dat in the Back award.
Nice. All right, so that's going to be Tona T.U. for Kiss of the Spider-Woman and Regina Hall for One Battle After Another. All right, now we're getting into our top 2 categories for the Seated Awards, the Super Seated Awards. And our next category is the most likely to succeed. And this is going to the actor or filmmaker who was most likely to walk away this season with an Oscar. Now, who was your selection for this one, Tre'vell?
You know, I think it is decided that the supporting actress Oscar will be going to a one Ariana Grande for her performance as Glinda the Good in Wicked for Good.
Okay, all right.
I'm not advocating for this for the record. I just think that is what the industry is going to do. That seems to be what I'm hearing on the streets and what's popping up in some of these early, you know, early critics groups conversations, early, you know, nominations bodies, and both Cynthia, well, especially Cynthia, but maybe Ariana Grande, if you feel that way, from the first film, were quite worthy of the honor. It seems like Ariana will be taking this one away.
Okay.
I think she has
All right.
tough competition, but that's my most likely to succeed. There you go. Who
Fair.
is yours?
So mine are, I don't think they're in competing categories, so I think my selections are in the lead actress category, and I have two here because there's one that I really want to win, and there's the other that is like most obvious is pulling ahead right now in the race. And my first selection is Chase Infinity, who we just discussed from One Battle After Another.
So the stakes are incredibly high.
Scared?
No.
Well, you should be.
See Willa go on this whole journey of finding who she is, and as a duo, where they are at the start is just a complete night and day difference from where they end up.
I think her performance was brilliant. Like, she turned that act into her film. When she shows up, it very much so becomes a movie where her character, the choices she makes are all critical to the story. And as someone who's pretty much being introduced to the feature film world, I was so impressed by her performance. And so Chase Infinity is going to be my first submission for the most likely to succeed. And my second is going to be Jessie Buckley for her performance in Hamnet, where she plays essentially the wife, lead woman character, Agnes. Varying pronunciations there, but she essentially plays this hippie woman who's essentially married to an artist, and she's very earthy, very woods womany, and I think her performance really does.
She's married to William Shakespeare, right?
Yes. Ultimately, we find out that it's William Shakespeare that she's married to, and she's the mother of the titular character Hamnet, i.e. Hamlet. And I think her performance is really great. She's already getting so much recognition from all the different critic circles, I believe the Golden Globes. And so we'll see, but I really want our girl Chase Infinity to kind of become the front runner and be that awards darling of the young girl out front. So hopefully we'll see that happen.
It is interesting. We will see, because I will just note that, the lead actress, person who won lead actress last year or earlier this year was Mikey Madison for Honora, who is a young starlet, that kind of archetype. And so I could see it. Why not? Yeah. Okay, so our most likely to succeed submissions are Ariana Grande for Wicked, Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another, and Jessie Buckley for Hamnet.
Yes. All right. Now it is time for the big award of the episode and the super seated award for the show out of 2025. And this is the movie that had it all. Box office numbers, critic acclaim, discourse, and the streets were talking. It wasn't just a movie. It was absolutely the moment of 2025. And I believe that this is probably going to be the same choice for both you and I. So I'll let you take it away.
Y'all know what it is, okay? The Show Out Award, it has to go to Sinners, okay?
Absolutely.
Ryan Coogler's major, box office record shattering, historical epic, right? That really just, seemingly has, will go on to transform the industry in various different ways, both in terms of the aspiration opportunities that it provides to the community, also in terms of the possibilities, in terms of, the kind of relationships and deals, right, that filmmakers can in particular, Black filmmakers can begin and continue to avail themselves of. And so Sinners, we've talked about it plenty of times. It's about two brothers. Michael B. Jordan plays both of them, who come back to the South after, quote unquote, striking it big in Chicago. And they want to start a juke joint. It's a story about it's a story about capitalism. It's a story about ownership. It's a story about autonomy. It's a story about Black culture, Black narratives, our history, who gets to own it, etc. Such a rich narrative that absolutely the show out award. Like, come on.
Yeah, like stop playing with us. Like
stop
this movie
playing.
has everything. It's a historic narrative. It's a period piece. It's a vampire movie. It's a black ass movie.
Okay.
It's a Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan production. Like, come on, stop playing with us. Like, it is what it is. Like, let it be, and give the man and the people the things that they deserve.
All of
show
them.
out, Ryan. Show out.
All of it. And what I love is that, like, I do know that they will be playing in his face and in those actors' face this entire award season. But what I'm looking forward to is I know that they will be on the carpets. Okay. I know that they will be involved in the conversation. And so I'm taking that with me and holding it closely.
At the point you can make Perline's funky snatch work in the narrative.
Please cut it out.
Come on.
Please cut it out. Please cut it out. Please cut. And with that, beautiful people, okay, those are our superseded superlative awards, okay, for 2025. What a year of movies.
Yes, it's been an amazing. I'm
gonna say you better watch that.
How would you assess this year, Tre'vell, if you had to rate the year in movies of 2025 on a 5-star scale? What are you giving 2025?
I'm gonna give 2025. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay.
I think there were some high highs, but I think there were a lot more mid to lows.
Yeah.
And it makes me nervous about what the 2026 filmmaking landscape is going to be, like what we're going to get. Because baby, it was horde out there. What about for you?
Yeah, I'm also at a 3.5-ish. We just didn't have a meteor lot to choose from for films this year for it to have been a year that's so much hinged on. Like, I remember last year there was this saying going around the industry talking about survive until 25, and this year just did not deliver on the promise that I think we were hoping for. And with all the movies that I was looking forward to the most, so many of them let me down. There were a couple of sneaks in there, but for the most part, I can't even count on one hand how many movies I'm like, I gotta have this on like my box set collection or something. So 3.5, that's where I'm landing. I'm really excited to introduce the Superseded Awards this year to the people, and I look forward to hearing how people vote and seeing what we miss. Any last thoughts from you?
I will say, I do think that the independent film, like if I gave a grade specifically to independent filmmaking and that sphere, which doesn't always necessarily land in the theaters because of, distribution and all of that, I probably would rate it a little higher because I am encouraged by the indie space and what seems to be able to get made and break through nonetheless. But I completely hear that. And listen, 2026 is yet around the corner. And we will be having a whole new crop of films to dive into very soon.
Yes, well, hopefully the people will stick around and see us in 2026. We hope you all have a happy new year as we close out 2025. And as we always say, we will see you at the movies.
See you at the movies.
If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap that subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll bring you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckrow and animation by Ajung Adi, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Arrows. This week's episode was edited by me, Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slay John and 5011 Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. Shout out to our location partner, The Walcott Yard. See you at the movies. Holla!